And welcome to episode 2 of the D3 podcast, Not the Mighty Ducks, Worse. I am Andy Graziano, joined by Anthony Paterno and AJ Graziano from Florida. Boys, how are we this evening?
Doing pretty good. Busy day, but
you boy? Yeah, I heard it was a little busy.
Looking forward to getting into some good conversations here.
Absolutely.
Not about the Rangers.
With these small,
we've been told
these small banks failing and word of Credit Suisse having liquidity problems. We've been kind of going crazy ourselves, but
yeah,
there's a cap on Ranger talk.
Not a cap, just I don't want to spend an hour talking about a team that I don't mind, but I don't necessarily.
You secretly root for it. Yeah,
dictator in here.
Yeah, I'm extremely jealous because it is absolutely frigid here. We had white rain on Monday. For anyone that
it was
doesn't
a
know,
little.
White rain is when it snows but doesn't stick. So we had the white rain all day Monday, and it is absolutely frigid. And you guys are just jostling around in t-shirts and shorts.
Listen, my grandpa had to cancel his tea time this morning because it was 43 degrees out.
So. Oh, poor baby.
It was cold. It was cold.
He's also 82. So.
Oh, God bless. 82 and still golfing. That's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yep.
All right, so let's get into it. The last week, there's been some interesting stuff going on in the sports world, from hockey to the NFL to the New York Yankees, which we'll get into a little later in the show. We'll actually close the show with some Yankees talk. But right to the NHL, and the playoff push continues in earnest. There hasn't been much of a change over the last week in the standings, outside of the fact that the New Jersey Devils actually have a real legitimate shot at catching the Carolina Hurricanes, especially off the news that Andrei Svechnikov is going to miss the rest of the year with a knee injury. Islanders still holding on to that last wild card spot, which is precarious because Florida is only 3 points back with 2 games in hand. Buffalo and Washington are each 5 points back, rather, but Buffalo has 3 games in hand on the Islanders, and Washington has 1. So things getting a little hairy for the wild card spots in the East. Rangers look pretty much locked into that 3 slot. I guess the disdain for Patrick Kane is chilled down, boys, in Rangerland. What do you think?
He's lucky, man, because I forget what game it was, but it was I forget who they were playing, but it was Raiders on the power play, and he gave the puck up. He went to stick handle at the point.
Yep.
And he lost the puck, and they came back and scored.
And he scored a minute after that. Yeah, you were mad.
Dude,
I was going to take his head off.
When he came back and scored, my soul left my body. I was like,
oh my God, bro. I was like, he's a gamer, man. I mean,
Patty Kane, he's got 3 goals and 5 points in 6 games as a Ranger. He's looking a little more lively as each game goes on, looking a little more comfortable as each game goes on.
Were you guys able to watch yesterday?
I watched. I did. I watched the regular broadcast, not the broadcast. Yeah, I agree.
He's on the puck. He's got the puck, right? I mean,
yep.
That was his best game.
Yep.
He took a little spill at practice today.
Did he really? I didn't read that.
Yeah, that's why I said, Mercogliano put a video up, and he's like,
Wince Mercogliano had that?
Wince Mercogliano, yeah, he sent Twitter into a frenzy.
Let's relax here. What if you listen?
He puts up the video, and he's like, "Oh, Kane fell at the end of practice, but he seems to be okay. He got up and skated off."
Right, like why even mention that? Like the guy slipped. Like I used to slip all the time. Funny story. This is actually a true story. So freshman year in high school, we played. I played for the St. Peter's Eagles in Staten Island. We played Monsignor Farrell, who was our rival, at the Meadowlands, the old Brendan Byrne Arena. Right, they set up a game for us in an NHL venue. We were all excited. We come out for warm-ups, right? And you guys have both played, so like the typical warm-up, you skate behind the net, out to the blue line, curl, back behind the net. I said, nah, not good enough for me. 5,000 people there. I'm going to cut in front of the net. Dude, I cut. That ice was, I'm blaming it on the ice was wet, but ice is wet. Like when the Zamboni's done and it hasn't really frozen yet. So I cut in front of the net. Boom, both edges go out. I go crashing into the net, knock it off the pegs, into the backboards. I was the talk of the school for the next year. Talk of the school.
I wish we had a video of that.
So do I, actually.
Someone got it on their fucking VHS tape.
Like people
On the
fall. Like
camcorder.
to me as a reporter, there's no reason to even report that. Like why?
I
even
mean, his
report
hip, man. What if he
nonsense?
re-injured his hip?
He said he
But he
stayed
didn't.
down. That's
He
why.
said that's what Wynn said. He stayed down.
Yeah, for a little bit.
Okay. Well, I stayed down for a little bit too. I was more embarrassed than hurt, but I stayed down for a little bit too. I didn't make papers the next day.
So if you see Kane not playing tomorrow, then you know why.
Well,
But-
then I'll give credit where credit's due.
You want to know what's funny though? Just to go back, this is not Rangers related, but after we made those wild card predictions.
Yep.
The
Out of the
Senators
tank.
got smacked.
That
I was
night,
sitting on,
texted us, yeah.
You're
I
like,
was
oh,
sitting on the
fuck.
couch like, oh shit, of course.
His future bet is not looking too good.
Oh man,
And your
no,
wife's like, "What's with you? Since when are you a Senators fan?"
they've been bad though since I said that. They
I
haven't
know,
been as
I
good.
know.
But
You put the hex on him.
what are you gonna do?
Yeah, they're falling behind. They're 6-4 in their last 10, but that's not good enough to keep up with the teams ahead of them. They're currently 6 points back of the Islanders with 2 games in hand. You know, again, those games in hand are important, right? I don't think any team is. Detroit's kind of fell a little further out of it with their 2-7-1 skid. But Ottawa's still got an outside shot. Washington's got an outside shot. I think the team that the Islanders should be most concerned about is the Florida Panthers, honestly. Were really, really coming up on their heels. They only have one less regulation win, which is the ultimate tiebreaker. So they're not in a good position. They're still missing Matthew Barzal, who he might not even be back for the season. I'm hearing now they're missing Oliver Wahlstrom. He's out. Pajot just came back last night. They're kind of facing a must-win tonight in Anaheim. That's for sure. You can't lose to a team like the Ducks when you're in a playoff.
And he mentioned the Panthers last week too.
Who?
Where we were talking about, man.
I think I asked. I said, "Is anybody?" Yeah,
He was like, yeah, he brought him up. So I mean,
so you remember that?
One.
I'm too old. I don't remember shit. You remember that? I don't remember what the hell I
he
said.
Specifically mentioned that the Florida Panthers would knock out the Islanders out of a wild card spot. So
well, it very well could come true. So his Ottawa prediction might have been total trash, but that one might be good.
I mean, I'm going to the game. My brother and dad are coming down, and we're going next. What is it? Next Saturday?
Nice.
Are you going down there?
Yeah,
you are. Right? Okay. Yeah, we're probably going to meet up after and go get food or something. If you want to do that, we'll meet somewhere.
Awesome. Yeah.
But yeah,
sounds good.
Yeah, it should be a good game. I mean, it's gonna now the Panthers are pushing. It might be a an intense game, and we're starting.
Every game for Florida is going to be intense coming up. Yeah.
The last game in Sunrise, it was pretty like back and forth. Like, we'd get the 2-goal lead, and then they would answer right back, and it was pretty until the end. It was a pretty good game, pretty back and forth.
So right now, your matchups would be Boston would play the Islanders. That's a complete and utter mismatch.
For the Islanders, right?
What?
I said for the Islanders, right? Is that what you meant?
Oh, yeah, no, the Bruins totally mismatched in that match. Totally mismatched.
I just want to say that I'm at this point with Svechnikov out, I'm kind of hoping the Devils take that spot and the Rangers play.
You're not the first one that said that.
We have their number too. I mean,
But you know what they say about wishing for a team. Never wish for a team.
Be careful.
We're gonna get who we're gonna get, right? Whatever.
But right now, Boston would play the Islanders. Carolina would get Pittsburgh, as it currently stands. Toronto and Tampa Bay, and the Devils and Rangers in the East. And swinging over to the West, it'd be Dallas Vegas would play Winnipeg. That's actually a pretty good series.
I want Vegas to play the Kings, but
Dallas would play Seattle, and then Minnesota would play Colorado, and LA would play Edmonton.
Good matchups. I'm looking forward to that Tampa-Toronto. That's pretty locked, right? I mean,
Tampa-Toronto, I would say, is pretty locked. Boston's already clinched the division, so Toronto and Tampa can only flip-flop for home ice. I'm trying to look and see who else is in that division.
That's going to be a good one.
Ottawa. Ottawa's 16 points back in the division. So yeah, that Tampa-Toronto is pretty much locked in as a first-round matchup.
What do you guys? I mean, do you guys think they make it past the first round this year or what?
Who, Toronto? I never bet against a John Cooper team in the playoffs. Period.
So you think they get bounced again?
I'm hoping they get bounced again. I'm not saying they will or they won't. I'm hoping they do.
I don't know. I kind of feel.
I think Toronto. I think it'd be a good series. I think Toronto.
Toronto fans?
I kind of feel for him. It's
Don't.
bad.
Don't.
No,
I think they can edge that out. I think they can edge out that series.
They're heathens. They're macaroons. You would hate them if you were an Islander fan. You would hate them worse than you hate Devil fans.
I don't know about that.
Toronto in 7. That's my prediction.
Yeah, I think they do it.
Yeah, Toronto in 7.
Especially after Tampa's recent. I mean,
you know what? This time they're going to be down 3 goals or whatever it was, and they're going to come back and win instead of the other way around against Boston.
All hell is going to break loose if they don't win the first round. I mean,
they might.
Do you guys know Herman Barron, who refed at Tab Ramos for a long time by chance?
I probably know him by sight.
He's a big Leafs fan, and I think it was him that I saw something he said, like, I don't care what happens after the first round. We could get swept in the second round. He's like, all I want is to win the first round. That's all I care about.
Well, Toronto's up against it, right? Because next year, guess who's entering the final year of his deal?
Matthews, right? Yeah.
Austin Matthews. So there's a lot of talk that he is
future Ranger.
Really, really hard pressed with that cap situation to really give him the money that he's going to command.
Gotta work the Rangers now, right?
I heard he wants to play. He only wants to play for the Rangers.
Everyone's going to the rain. Must be nice.
He only wants to go.
I would love to see him go to Arizona and just.
Well, that's where he's from, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, if you look at Toronto, in all honesty, Matthews is going to be coming off an $11.6 million deal based on some of the contracts that guys of his ilk have received recently. He's going to command 12, 13, especially with the cap going up as much as it's going to go up. They already have Tavares on the books for 11. They have Marner on the books for close to 11. They have Nylander on the books for close to 7. Morgan Riley at 7.5. TJ Brody at $5 million. Matt Murray at almost $5 million. They're not going to be able to, I don't think, give Austin Matthews without gutting something else. In other words,
yeah.
So he's going to be huge when
who's more at
the open market, man. That's going to be huge.
Who's more valuable, Matthews or Marner?
In
your opinion?
Oh, it's tough.
I mean, I'm a huge Austin Matthews fan, but I've heard a lot of people say that they think Mitch Marner is actually better, like overall.
I mean, some of the stuff Marner does is pretty fucking wild, honestly.
I feel like he gets like that secondary recognition, next to Matthews over there, where anywhere else he's the
superstar. He's the face. Yeah, no, for sure. It's like a 1A, 1B kind of thing.
It'll be interesting, definitely, to see what happens especially if they get bounced in round 1 again. I mean, the whole thing.
Yeah, because he wants to, he wants to win eventually. He's going to want to win a cup. So I don't know.
I want to get you guys' opinion on this. So today was day 2 of the NHL general manager meetings in Florida. Actually, coincidence. It's always in Florida. Everything's always in Florida. And a couple of things. Right. A couple of things they spoke about. One, Ant, was what you mentioned last week, and that was being able to review, expanding coaches' challenges to include, pucks over the glass and stuff of the like. So, you
think they're listening, or
I do. The GM meetings, they do listen, whether they implement changes or not. I think that has to be implemented at some point, right?
Nah, I flew right over.
I said, you think they listen to us, like the D3?
Oh, listen to us. Oh, it's possible. I doubt it, but it's possible. I mean, nobody listens to us.
I think it's highly likely. I think
we have like a core of like 10 listeners, which is great.
Maybe like one of the 10 listeners is one of them.
We're on the upside.
We're new kids on the block. Yeah.
But another thing that they spoke about, which will probably create some interesting dialogue between us three, is they spoke about reactionary fighting, is what they called it, or retaliatory fighting, and it's something that's always been on my mind for a while, and it's something that I've never really loved. And it's actually funny because the guy that they brought up at the meetings in response to talking about this topic was Jacob Trouba.
Of course.
And, you see Jacob Trouba throw a really good, clean, hard, open ice hit like he's known to do. And, not all of his hits are clean. So I'm going to play devil's advocate here.
Whoa.
Most of them
I
are.
think 99.
Most of them
99%.
Let's skip this section.
Anyway, he
Yeah, I
throws
don't
a
wanna
good
talk
hard.
about this.
He throws a hard open ice check, and immediately he has to fight. I've never been a fan. I'm not against fighting. I think the game has done a good job of weeding it out naturally by sort of by attrition. But now they're talking about addressing retaliatory fighting, which I think might be the play here. You shouldn't always have to answer for a good, hard, clean hit by having to defend yourself when a guy like a Matt Martin or who's that other freaking Walking Dead guy that we were talking about last week, the guy in Ottawa,
Watson,
Austin Watson comes at you and starts trying to beat your face in because you laid a clean, open ice hit well within the boundaries of the rules. Thoughts?
Well, you kind of saw that in the Ranger game against Calgary when Trouba had those huge hits, like, and then he had to fight. The guys came after him to fight. Like, you saw the refs kind of police that already because the Flames were assessed penalties on each one of those hits. I don't know if they called an instigator or if they called unsportsmanlike or whatever. So you kind of, I guess they're kind of already doing it. Not every game, probably, obviously, but
here's the thing: they're not even calling they're not even calling instigating anymore. Like, that's a clear instigator penalty, and it's never ever called.
I think it was in that game.
I think it was instigating. I'm pretty sure, yeah.
But 9 times out of 10, it's not.
Yeah, to give, I guess, my opinion on it is, right, like, we all know what it's like to play when you're on the ice or whatever, and you're playing with your teammates. You guys are a family, especially at that level, how serious it is, right?
Yep.
When you see a guy get laid out on your team, I understand the, like, wanting to go and defend whether it's clean or not, wanting to go. I mean, that could be with a clean hit back, right? That's how it should be. It should be, okay, let's wake up here and let's go do something, right?
Yep.
So I think that the penalty for doing that, I think that it should be higher. So it's like a risk reward. If your guy gets laid out completely and you're like, screw it, I don't care what penalty's taken, right? I want to go and I'm going to drop my gloves. I'm going to go after this guy.
Right.
I think that the way that it was handled in that Calgary game or whatever it was, I think you're right. I think it was the Calgary game was right. I mean, you're going to get an instigator penalty. You're going to, I guess that's all you could do, right? I guess you can charge an instigator penalty for going after the guy, and maybe they can do more. Maybe they can say, if you do that, if you retaliate to a clean hit and we review it and we say it's a clean hit, you're going to get a 4-minute penalty. You're going to get an instigator, and you're going to get whatever else comes with it.
Put the other team on the power play.
You know what I mean? Like, because I don't think that you can. I mean, what other way can you handle that? And like, Andy, what would your opinion be on that? Like, how would you correct that? How would you fix that?
I think you pretty much hit the nail on the head. I think that you have to you have to police the instigator rule more than they have. That's number one.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe throwing another penalty on, I think is well. I mean, think about this, right?
5 minutes.
You go shorthanded if you have a failed challenge. So why not go shorthanded if you retaliate for a clean hit by instigating a fight?
They'd almost have to implement a new penalty, though, because you can't say 4 minutes for instigating. I mean, or they have to add that, or they can do a 5 minute, right? If it's a clean hit, it's a 5 minute major for going after the guy or whatever. I mean, it's just very hard for us to sit, or I should say, it's easy for us to sit on our couch or wherever and just watch it and say, like, he shouldn't be able to do that. It's a clean hit. But it's like when you're on the ice and you're battling and you guys are a team.
Yeah, I think to your point, I think even though if they do implement a rule like that, you're still going to see a ton of guys like going after whoever laid the hit, because at the end of the day, like, they're going to want to defend their team. Like, and then it's almost like a bad look to your teammates. It's like, oh, like, no one stood up for, if you're the guy that got fucking laid out, you're like, damn, like, no one stood up for me or something. Like,
yeah, and it's not only that either.
I'm a loser.
I'm laying on the ice.
I want to trade. Trade me right now.
It's not only that too. It's the other things, like, for instance, like when your goalie there's somebody whacking at your goalie, right? Putting their stick underneath and trying to get the puck, right? It's like when I watch, like, even when I watch the Rangers, obviously they don't, like, the other night when Igor, he I forget whose stick it was. He took it and threw it over the back and almost hit Panarin. It's like if that was the Bruins, if somebody was doing that to Ullmark, the guy would be on the floor. And I don't know if there's a different standard for like. I feel like whenever I watch like the Penguins, the Bruins, they could do whatever they want. They're gonna get away with it. If they went over to that guy and put him on his ass on the ice for doing that, for trying to whack the goalie 7 times and trying to get to the puck, it would be fine. No penalties called. The Rangers, if they would have went and done it, or whoever, I feel like there's a call that's made. I'm not saying just the Rangers.
Again?
I mean,
you're talking conspiracy again.
No. I'm saying for like teams, I think there's like a certain way that the Bruins play that's just accepted. Almost like it's not, it's almost, you know what I'm saying by that? Like it's almost expected. Like it's just their style of play. They're going to play like that. They're going to do some borderline dirty stuff or just act very aggressive.
But it should be called the same way. Like,
agreed.
You can't,
but it's not
rules for, no, I know, but
I'm just saying, like you get it comes into all of that. Like you always stand up for your teammates, and it doesn't.
I agree with
sometimes it doesn't matter what's going to get called. That's what happened.
I mean, look at the game against Pitt. The other day, I thought for sure that before they scored, before Panarin took that tripping penalty, I thought for sure Malkin held them. The ref was right there, and then Panarin obviously it's a bad. Panarin should have taken that penalty anyway.
Yeah,
but I thought for sure Malkin held him, and there's a bunch of other little shit that the Penguins just get away with because
it's all across. I mean, I watch other games too. It happens everywhere. It's
I know
it happens everywhere, but just meaning on the sticking up for your teammates and all that stuff. A big hit, you see one of your best friends. I mean, it could be your best friend, it could be your teammate, it could be someone you're close with.
I mean, I hope that if if Panarin ever got laid out, like
exactly,
I hope the whole team would just jump the bench.
Doesn't matter, right?
I wonder if anybody would do anything if that happened. If Tony D'Angelo was on the receiving end of one of those hits.
No, I'd look fuck that guy.
But I think that is a sign though that you have a team, right? You have a family. If something like that happens, if you just watch your
and I think
teammate get laid out, I mean, at least you want to see the team respond and get more physical and throw a couple more hits.
Even last night, Tom Wilson started doing his usual, fuckery, and you saw Goudreau. You saw Goudreau step up to him, like you saw the team kind of like not taking his shit. Which was good to see.
Tom Wilson would have literally like caved Goudreau's
I think
face
the whole like saying that the Rangers are soft thing is kind of a little overblown.
No, I get it. It's like Igor, when somebody does something to Igor and they all stand around. But
I think
the game overall has gotten softer, though. I think when you're talking about soft, I think the game has gotten a little softer. The game has evolved from the neutral zone trap, clutching, grabbing, digging in the corners. It's kind of evolved into this tremendous skill game now, where that's kind of taking over the league, speed and skill. So I think the game itself has gotten softer in that respect.
Yeah, but you're going to tell me that if Linus Ullmark was getting hacked like that with the puck under his pad, that whoever it is, McAvoy's not coming over and laying that guy on his ass no matter what. Exactly.
Probably.
So
I'm not disagreeing with you.
So, okay, so then if we're talking about officiating, should that type of stuff be called or should it not? Because if it's not supposed to be called, then I think a lot more teams should be physical like that instead of just standing around.
What should be called? What are you looking to call on the offending?
Nothing, whatever, anything like that. If you're going to come
jamming at a potential loose puck in a goalie's pads?
Either way, yeah. So should that be called or should the roughing after it be called?
You play to the whistle. You play to the whistle.
Okay.
Period. You play to the whistle. And sometimes the whistle is always going to be delayed, right? So sometimes, again, we've all played, right? You know that if you're in the process of doing something and then the whistle blows, and then the ref's gonna say I did it after the whistle, maybe like it's bullshit.
Yeah,
I was in the process of doing it when you blew your whistle. It was just an unfortunate, really effective timing more than anything, right?
Yeah.
And by the way, Ant, you're a sports bettor, so if you had Ilya Lyubushkin to score the first goal tonight in the Buffalo-Washington game, you would have won a shit ton of money, I'm thinking. Because I don't know what the odds would have been on that guy, but they must have been pretty freaking huge.
Yeah, probably.
What's his name? Lyubushkin?
Ilya Lyubushkin. And the second goal was J.J. Peterka. And the third goal for Buffalo was Tyson Yost. So if you had Yost, Peterka, and Lyubushkin to score, you're probably a millionaire right now.
Is Peterka your cousin?
What?
Peterka?
My cousin?
Kind of like his last name. Yeah.
JJ Peterka.
No Skinner points though, like I need. So that doesn't help me.
No, actually, none of them guys have scored.
I know. I saw 3-1. I was like, nice. Probably a Skinner point.
Yeah, 3-1 mid-second.
But I'm D1 in our league, so I have a bye this week. So
I was gonna say, don't you have a bye?
Wow.
Who are you guys playing?
D1 out there. I'm not. I don't know. I lost Kaprizov, so I'm pretty much done.
Are you in the playoffs?
Yes. Don't you pay attention at all to anything other than your team? You selfish bastard.
I just see bye, and that's all.
God, you're selfish.
I have a bye.
All right. The other thing I want to talk about, and I'm really interested to hear you guys' thoughts on this as well. AJ knows for a long time. I can't say long enough. I have absolutely loathed the shootout. It is an abomination to me to decide to decide a National Hockey League game that two teams battled their hearts out for 65 minutes, and you're going to tell me that the extra point, and we're going to decide this thing in a breakaway contest that we have in practice. It's stupid. It was for the fans coming off the lockout. I get why they did it. The experiment is over.
So what
get
should they?
Rid of that stupid, childish practice bullshit.
Do people not like it? Like fans?
I don't like it, and
I'm saying around the casual fans.
I don't care. I don't like it.
That's all they care about.
This is our show, and I don't like it.
That's all the NHL cares about, though. Do the fans like it?
I think
what should they do?
Are you telling me that a fan of the game of hockey wouldn't rather see a 10-minute 3-on-3?
Then what?
Then it's a tie. Boom, we go back to ties.
You want to bring ties
go back to ties.
I think you bring back. I think you bring back ties.
If games go to a 10-minute 3v3, there are not going to be any ties. I guarantee you. There might be the odd tie here and there, but there's not going to be many ties. Thoughts?
I like that. I mean, shootouts.
I hate it. Oh my God, I freaking hate it. You'll see me tweet after a game, right? The Islanders will go to a shootout. You'll see me tweet Islanders and whatever Pens.
No, this
play
is why.
to a 3-3 tie.
I'll literally tweet that
at the end of the overtime because I don't give a shit what happens after that.
I'd almost rather see 4-on-4 for 10 minutes.
But 4-on-4 for 10 minutes. Now you're introducing what you just said, what you just argued against, and that was ties.
I understand, but 3-on-3 at the same time isn't. It's not what you're saying. It's not. Yeah, but it's not. It's a totally different game. It's totally different. Okay. If you're gonna do that, take off sides out of 3-on-3. Go full roller hockey.
Oh no,
off sides 3-on-3.
Now you're getting crazy.
Let's get the goal scored then. We could do 3-on-3, no offsides, keep the shootout if it gets there.
That'd be
a lot
radical.
of people just play possession in 3-on-3 anyway.
Exactly. Just do away with the blue line.
I think you bring back. I wouldn't mind a tie. I think you bring back a tie
after a 10-minute 3-on-3 is my opinion.
I
want to see the expansion of 3-on-3. I love it. I think it's. I don't care who's playing. It could be the freaking Ducks and the Blue Jackets. I'm watching that 3-on-3. I'm watching it every single time. The
best format's the 5-on-5 endless OT, obviously, like playoffs. That's the best because it's hockey. It's the same rules. Everything's the same, right? You're battling the whole game. It's the best. When you go 3-on-3, it completely changes. I mean, you're not doing the same things. It's not the same game. It's almost like you can't really officially be like, oh, that was. It's totally different. Do you get what I'm trying to say? I can't really express it, but you know how you're saying the shootout has nothing to do with the game you're battling for 60 minutes, 5-on-5, right? When you get to the 3-on-3, it's so totally different too that it's not even is the better team actually winning?
That's fair.
You know what I'm saying? It is totally different. It's a totally different game. So I don't know the real way to. I would love to just see continuous hockey, right? Until someone wins. I would love to see 5-on-5 for another 10 minutes, honestly. But if we're gonna do it that way, let's just do 5-on-5, 10 more minutes. If nobody scores, it's a tie. You know, I don't know.
AJ, what do you think?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I like 3-on-3.
It's exciting, definitely.
It's exciting, yeah. I think I wouldn't mind bringing back a tie. I think you keep 5-minute 3-on-3 if no one scores. You keep it a tie. I thought I saw that. Are they thinking about moving it to 7 minutes, the 3-on-3?
I didn't see that discussed today. I'm not saying that you're lying or that you didn't see that,
I know,
but it wasn't discussed
and
today.
I think Jack Hughes might have said something like a couple weeks ago about 3-on-3.
Yeah,
I don't know if you guys saw that, but he was like,
Jack Hughes' opinion means shit on this podcast.
Bring it to 10 minutes.
I
think 5-on-5 to 10 minutes would be dope. I think 5-on-5 to 10 minutes would be cool in regular season. Because again, you do that in the playoffs anyway.
Yeah,
continuous.
Yeah.
So
Jack Hughes' opinion on this show is as much weight as Chris Kreider's.
But I think the main reason why you hate shootouts is because the Islanders have no skill and they can't win a shootout.
Oh boy, here we go. All right, moving on to the next thing they discussed today, and this is what I don't like. Again, a lot of shit the NHL discusses I don't like because I'm just an idiot. But another thing they discussed today was get ready, because you're going to see your video game dreams come true to life if they go through with this. Increased protective equipment. Now, they didn't go into detail on what that means. I know that the situation that they discussed today in regards to increasing protective equipment was the skate cut that Evander Kane suffered when he ended up missing a hell of a long time with that injury.
Protective equipment like around your neck, like the neck guard?
I don't know. Like when Maroon stepped on Kane, actually Kane ended up being rushed to the hospital. He was out for 10 weeks. When it sliced his like right around his wrist, and what GMs are saying is, well, skates are sharper, and yeah, but I mean, think about when we played and when we grew up, right? I don't know about you guys. I didn't even wear anything on my neck, and you think about like we just never thought about it. Like when you're out there playing, you just never think that that's a possibility, but it's been a possibility in the game since inception, since the game was created. I think you're going to try. I mean, what are you going to do? You're going to turn these guys into freaking NHL 23 guys? It's just square blocks with huge football shoulder pads and like, what do you? I don't get it.
It'll be Bubble Boy.
You're going to mandate wrist protection. You're going to mandate. Whereas players now, where you see some of them they go with the short cuff because they like the freedom in their wrists, and you're going to now mandate wrist protection.
That's like a freak accident too. Like it's not like that happens all the time.
It's amazing how little it happens considering how fast the game is and how physical the pro game is. It's amazing it doesn't happen.
I can't see them going through with that, honestly.
Like I remember asking Casey Cizikas when the Islanders played the Penguins. This was around 2017, 2018 in the playoffs, and Cizikas went behind the net and got hit into the boards backwards. And one of the Penguins, I'm not sure who it was cutting in front of him and got knocked down from behind. And that guy's skate just went like close call right under his chin. And I remember asking Casey about it. I was like, do you guys ever does that ever cross your mind on how just how close that came? Because up in the press box, I said, we gasped, like literally at how close that came. And he's like, honestly, he goes, we never even think about it. We don't think about it. We don't worry about it. We don't want to wear anything else on our bodies. Like they like the freedom. And I mean, I don't know where this is going to go, but it was a pretty big discussion today on increasing safety equipment. So
I mean, whenever I play ice hockey, I cannot even wear shoulder pads, man. It's such a
that's crazy.
Equipment. Well, I don't play. I mean, when I don't play in a hitting league, why would I? I don't need to wear shoulder pads. I wear elbow pads, obviously, but roller hockey, we never wear shoulder pads. No one wears shoulder pads. It's just you wear elbow pads, you wear shins, and that's a cup, and that's it, right? I mean,
I never wore shoulder pads playing a roller, but no. I wouldn't play ice without shoulder pads.
But why? If you're not playing in a hitting league, what's the difference?
Because I've gotten hit plenty of times in a non-hitting league. Plenty of times.
Well, that's a different story. But I mean,
plenty of times.
But wearing it's restrictive, right? If you're not used to it. So for these players, it's going to be an adjustment if they're not used to wearing these things. I can only imagine.
I can't see them going through with that, honestly. I think they're talking about it, but
I always figured that for me anyway, I found that it was easier for me to fall, not purposely, on ice than it was on roller. For some reason. I know that sounds weird and it might sound stupid, but I always found that there was more of a chance of me getting tripped up or getting my feet swept out from under me. It always happened to me more on ice than it did on roller for some reason. I don't know why.
Fair enough.
It's a strange thing. I know it sounds silly, but in my experience, that's just what I've experienced.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it just really depends, right? I guess the speed, right? Where you're playing a faster game.
Yeah, roller's a lot slower. Yeah.
Well, sometimes. Yeah, it depends.
Well, if you play in D1, it's not.
It depends. And I play in like lower leagues on ice because I'm not as smooth on ice as I am on roller. So I don't play in as, I guess, at least I used to. I used to play in higher roller leagues than I do ice, obviously. So for me, it's a little different. Like when I play ice, I feel like the game's a little slower. It's 5-on-5. It's, there's more people on the ice. And roller, it's 4-on-4. It's fast. It's different for me, at least. That's how I always
found. Yeah, I always found ice to be quick, to be faster.
Me too.
Yeah, I'm the opposite.
To me,
I don't know.
I like my decisions had to be sharper. My decisions had to be quicker on ice. Roller, I could take a little more time for everything to develop. You know what I mean? Like speed.
It all depends. Yeah.
I always played I played more roller than ice, but I always found ice to be quicker in my experience.
The game slows down for Ants. He's D1. The game slows down for D1 players. I mean,
he's the Wayne Gretzky. Things, he's the Wayne Gretzky of roller hockey. It's amazing.
Now, your brother Ant was a defenseman, right?
No,
I thought your brother was a defenseman.
No, he was a grinder. He was a winger.
Oh, really?
He played defense in like MY growing up, and he was so much bigger than everybody. I still remember this. He would lay everyone out. This was like when hitting first became a thing for him, And he was bigger, and he would clock people all over the ice, all over the rink, the roller rink, and it was something to see.
Maybe that's why I thought he was a defenseman because of his size. Maybe that's why I thought he was a defenseman.
No, yeah, he plays. I mean, on roller, most of the stuff we've played, he plays defense, but it's just a different game on roller. But on ice, when they won the states and everything, he was a forward.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so good stuff on the NHL. We're going to switch gears here as we head into the last 20 minutes. We're going to switch gears to what has been a crazy, crazy couple of days in the National Football League with the opening of free agency. Well, not really the opening because, they can talk to guys a week ago. It's really just announcing the stuff and making it, quote unquote, official when the new league year begins. But, AJ, you want to take us into some of the big NFL news that we saw?
There's a bunch of shit going on. I think you got to start with the NFC South, right? I mean, you look at, all the Falcons, they get Jesse Bates, probably one of the best, if not the best safety in the league. You get the Panthers. They trade up to number 1, obviously, to get their quarterback.
And then they get Miles Sanders now.
They got Miles Sanders today. The Saints got their quarterback in Derek Carr, and they signed Jamal Williams to a 3-year deal today. So, I mean, the NFC South is loading up. The Saints did.
The Saints signed Jamal Williams? The Lions,
3 years. Yeah, 3 years. I think $4 million.
Last year, Jamal Williams.
$4 million a year, too. They got him for a steal.
Wow. I did not see. I thought he was for sure staying with the Lions. Wow.
I don't know. I don't know what that's going to – I don't think that's anything.
No, but it insulates them against Kamara going to prison.
Yeah. Right? Yeah, I guess.
I mean, I think he probably has maybe I don't know when.
Hey, he's a great change of pace to Kamara. Right, because he's more of like a bruiser, inside runner.
He's a power back, which is what they.
So he's a nice compliment, but Kamara may be going to prison. I don't see how Kamara. If Kamara gets out of this, I'm fully convinced that athletes can fucking do anything they want and get away with it. If Kamara gets away with this, athletes can literally do whatever they want and get away with it.
I mean, how do you to talk to a Saints fan? I mean, you're one of 3 actually. Friends that I have, close friends that are Saints fans, but what do you think about the Carr signing? I mean, you all are going to say it's great because whatever, but how do you actually
I mean, I've always obviously he hasn't won he hasn't won a playoff game. He hasn't won the big game. I've always been a fan of Carr. I think he gets overhated. I've always been a fan. He does what he needs to do. He's not a game manager. He could throw the deep ball. A little inconsistent at times because obviously he's not in the upper echelon of quarterbacks in the league, but I think you could argue he might be like top 15, top 20, which is an upgrade over Jameis or Dalton, which is what we're going to roll out. So I think right now the Saints they're in a pretty good spot, especially I think what Jamal brings off the field too with his personality, what he's going to bring to that locker room, and obviously he led the league in touchdowns last year. Good change of pace as long as Kamara plays. You can maybe keep Kamara a little fresher. But no, I'm happy with Carr. I'm happy with Jamal.
For fantasy purposes, Olave, I like Olave stock with Carr.
I think they're bringing back Thomas on a 1-year deal. So if he can, I think if Thomas could stay healthy, he recruited Carr. Yeah, he recruited Carr to the Saints. They talked a lot before he signed. But that's a big if because the past 3 years he hasn't really been on the field. So
I was happy. I know me and you were big. We put a lot of stock into Swift last year, and with Jamal leaving, I was like, oh, maybe there's a shot now, and then they went and got
D-Mark.
Yeah.
I'm
staying away forever. I will never, ever have DeAndre Swift on one of my fantasy teams ever again. I don't care.
DeAndre Swift, man. You got to free him, dude.
Unless he leaves. I can't.
He has to leave.
I can't stand it, dude. I can't tell you how many Sundays I sat there watching these games, and my blood pressure.
I'd be like, dude, I can't do it, man.
Like, come on, man. Like, what are we doing here?
Who do you root for, Ian? I don't even know.
I'm a Giants fan.
Oh, you are a Giants fan.
I'm a Giants fan, but I root for my fantasy team above
Daniel Jones. I've always ask AJ. I've always liked Daniel Jones. I have, but I think he's got a really good skill set. He's got a lot of tools in his toolbox, as they say.
Well, he adds Waller now too, if he could stay healthy.
He adds Waller, but $40 million for Daniel Jones.
He's not healthy, man.
God damn it! The quarterback market is just blown so far out of proportion. There's no way these teams are going to be able to pay these guys this kind of money going forward and surround them with the talent to win a Super Bowl. Just not possible.
Yeah.
Just not. You can restructure all you want. It's just unbelievable. $40 million a year for Daniel Jones. Come on, man.
I know. And I like the Waller signing. It's just the injury is we have too many people on our team that are just always injured. It's just I mean, to add another guy who's going to just be injured. I mean, we re-signed, I think, Shepard again. It's like, how many years in a row are you going to sign this guy and he's going to play?
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Yeah.
I mean, they need to get a receiver. The Giants are just. I mean,
and Saquon was franchised, right? They franchised Saquon, AJ.
Yeah,
they franchised Saquon, right?
Yeah.
Galladay's leaving too.
Get out. See ya. Get out of the league. Like, I don't know.
Goodbye.
A few years ago, he had that huge year in Detroit. He was a dominant receiver.
Wait, so Sanders went to the Panthers?
Sanders went to the Panthers today, yeah. Miles Sanders.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
What
are the Eagles doing?
Kenneth Gainwell, I guess.
Kenny Gainwell.
I feel like they got something else. No, they got to have
big news out of Dallas too, right? What does our friend Liam Byrne always say? The better back gets the tag, and Tony Pollard. And I'm hearing now the Cowboys are going to actually be releasing Ezekiel Elliott.
Oh my God!
Did they officially cut him?
I think so. I think it's official. Yeah. I could see him going somewhere and having.
I mean, how high are you guys drafting Pollard?
Pollard's a pretty good back on that team. On that team with that O-line,
I'll draft him in the first round. I'll draft him in the first round.
I mean, yeah. Honestly, like I'm not even.
He's gonna get the touches.
That dude is a monster.
Yeah, he's a.
But I could see Zeke going somewhere and still faring pretty well. Honestly.
Well, I guess I could if he's made the feature guy again, right?
Eagles?
Yeah, like.
Oh wow! Wouldn't that be something?
That would be crazy.
That he'd be like sticking it right up the Cowboys' ass with that.
That would be some crazy stuff.
Well, my Miami Dolphins also made news this week. We announced that we are exercising the 5th-year option on Tua Tagovailoa, pretty much showing complete and unwavering support in our quarterback. And bigger news than that, though, is considering how much our secondary was an absolute sieve last year, Chris Greer goes out and absolutely steals Jalen Ramsey from the Rams. So now Ramsey's going to line up opposite Xavier Howard and immediately improve a Dolphins defense that's going to get a full season, hopefully, knock on wood, out of Bradley Chubb. You already have Jalen Phillips there. You already have Christian Wilkins. And the Dolphins announced they're bringing back both of their running backs, and Raheem Mostert and Jeff Wilson. Really, really like what's going on in Miami. I'm saying this right now. I will say this right now on March 15th, 2023 at 8:46 p.m. If Tua Tagovailoa plays 17 games in 2023, the Miami Dolphins will win the AFC East.
Well, you got Rodgers in that division now.
I believe that if Tua's healthy, the Dolphins are
and you got
good.
Mac Jones in that division.
Mac Jones? Did you seriously
and you got
just say that?
Allen.
You were trolling just then, right? You were trolling just then, right?
He has juju now, man.
Mac Jones is a piece of shit.
Good.
Wait,
Mac Jones is a crybaby piece of shit.
Didn't Jacoby Myers leave too?
Jacoby Myers went to the Vegas
Raiders, right?
Vegas, yeah. Okay.
Oh man, I like him too. I really wish he would go somewhere good.
Mac Jones, if something doesn't go his way, or if the OC doesn't call a play that he wanted, he fucking cries like a little baby. He's got no maturity level. Him and Zach Wilson are both going to be thrown to the scrap heap soon enough.
Speaking of, I see one of our notes is A-Rod is a bitch, and I think
that's not me.
I think I have to agree with it, whoever it is.
It's AJ.
You know what? I was gonna ask this, huh?
No, wait, hold on. Let him explain why that's in our show notes. AJ, explain why you think Aaron Rodgers is a bitch.
I think he's a prima donna. I think he's very arrogant. I feel like he's almost like full. He's like full of himself.
Doesn't he deserve to be? Just because everybody's not everyone's not Tom Brady doesn't mean that they don't deserve a little arrogance.
I don't think anyone deserves to be.
That leads me to my point. I wanted to ask you, like, can you imagine, like, if, for instance, like in hockey, like if Patrick Kane was like, "I'm gonna come to the Rangers, but if so, you guys have to go get this guy, this guy." I see that, and I'm just like, I can't even like look at those tweets. I'm like, I can't believe like the difference in like
inmates running the asylum, right?
It's like the NBA and NFL are just like
inmates running the asylum. And that's exactly what happened in the NBA. The inmates started running the asylum, and the general managers let them do it, and they just went crazy with it. That's where the NFL's headed.
Could you imagine if, I mean,
and like, I don't know. The whole thing, like with his
Timo Myers, like, you guys better go after these guys if I'm coming there. It's just like, who,
his
like
fucking, like his darkness retreat. Like, no one cares, dude. Like, just make your fucking choice and play football. Like, why is it?
Okay, so your problem is with him not making his, which he made today. He announced it on the Pat McAfee show today.
I don't know, dude. Just
here's the ultimate troll job. I was thinking of this today. I didn't tweet this, but I was thinking because I wanted to save this for the show. Here's the ultimate. Right. So Aaron Rodgers, for the last 2 weeks, to AJ's point, has been doing nothing but trolling Jets fans. He has been. He's been trolling Jets fans. And it's been great to watch for me because I fucking hate Jet fans. I feel the way about Jets fans as you guys feel about Devils fans. I hate Jets fans. So would not the ultimate troll job? Aaron Rodgers said today on McAfee that what's holding everything up is the Packers are sticking to their guns in terms of trade compensation that they want from the Jets. Wouldn't the ultimate troll job, considering that Rodgers is basically throwing everybody in Green Bay under the bus in terms of the front office, the coaching staff, everybody on his way out? Ultimate troll job would be if Green Bay turns around and says, "Nope, Jets couldn't give us anything we liked. You know what? You can sit out. We're not going to trade you." That would be the ultimate reverse troll by the Packers as an organization, and I think would be absolutely brilliant.
I think it would be awesome based on the demands. I hate the demands. That's the one thing I don't like. Take as much time to make your decision, do whatever you got to do. But the whole demanding thing is just so odd to me. It's like
no, I don't mind like take your time to make your choice.
Do it behind closed doors.
Yeah, do it like why you make it.
The GOAT did that too.
So out in the open.
If people forget, Tom Brady did that when he went to Tampa. The GOAT, Tom Brady, who I think is the GOAT.
No,
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. There were certain players that got brought into Tampa Bay that were specifically requested by Tom Brady.
That's fine, but did he come out and say that he's requesting these players, or did he talk to the actual GM of the team and talk to everybody?
Right. Because Tom Brady is probably, like, to make an equivalent, is probably the Derek Jeter of the NFL. Yeah, right.
Exactly.
He did it. He lived his life, and he managed his career with class. He did. Mm-hmm. You can hate him all you want. People hate him just because they're fucking jealous. Period. Mm-hmm. He was married to Giselle. He had the world by the nuts. He was the GOAT. He had money. He had fame. He had celebrity, and people hated him for it.
Today on McAfee, right? He tried to walk back the wish list thing. He's like, "No, like that's overblown." Like, but I did, tell them like these are the players. It's like You gave him a wish list. Is a sense like, but he's trying to like drag the media through the mud.
Here's the thing with Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers
he's doing it to himself.
And if the Jets don't play to expectations with Aaron Rodgers coming to New York, you know what's going to happen. The media is going to try eating him for breakfast. They're going to start on the fucking vax questions. They're going to start on the retreat question. They're going to start on the conspiracy theory questions. They're going to just roast him. And it's going to be really interesting to see how he handles the media in New York, which, as we all know, is not media in Green Bay. It's unlike any other media in the world outside of maybe California, LA area. So it's going to be a real interesting dynamic.
I would say I've heard Toronto media is pretty bad.
Toronto media is pretty bad. I mean, Simmons headlines the nut jobs up there.
Yeah, I've heard Toronto's pretty crazy.
Simmons headlines the nut jobs up there.
It is. How do you guys think he's going to do in New York? I mean, I feel like I don't think he's been up to standards. You think he's going to be?
I think the Jets are a really good football team with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback. They're
better. I mean, there's no doubt, right? There's no doubt they're better.
They got Breece Hall, who would have been the offensive rookie of the year had he not got injured. They have now the thing with them at wide receiver though is they almost have to bring in a guy. They almost had to bring in Lazard, right? Because the way the Jets were currently constructed, even if you throw Rodgers at quarterback, they really only have Garrett Wilson, right?
Yeah,
they really don't have anybody else who's really good, but their defense is like top notch, like A- defense. So they're really good.
Yeah,
I think they did, didn't they? Yeah, they got Lazard.
Yeah, they did.
They got Lazard already. Yeah,
which
would be even better if Rodgers doesn't come there now. Lazard.
They're going to be. They're going to be good.
I know Devontae. Devontae's pissed that he's going to the Jets.
Who's pissed?
Devontae.
Devontae wanted him to come to Vegas.
Yeah, he put on his Instagram. He put on his story or something like, if you haven't talked to me for the past like 3 weeks, like fucking don't reach out to me or something.
Wow.
So he was he was pretty mad.
Devontae's butt hurt, huh?
I mean, what's he gonna? Who's the quarterback? What's the quarterback situation there?
Garoppolo. They just signed Garoppolo.
Oh, Jimmy G. Yeah.
That's not bad. Yeah, I forgot.
I
mean,
not bad. He's going to play 7 games and then get hurt again. We know what's going to happen to Jimmy G. I like Jimmy G, but
Baker Mayfield's going to the Bucs.
AJ hates Jimmy G.
I don't like Jimmy G at all.
We were watching
ever since that playoff game.
There was a game we were watching here. Was it a playoff game or was it? No, it was a regular season game. It was like the 51-45 game. Remember?
It was for the number one seed. It was for the number one
seed.
It was
a regular season game though, and
you would have thought fucking Jimmy G was
talking up Jimmy G. They were playing the Saints, and AJ was so mad.
Yeah, you would have thought he was Joe Namath the way they were talking about him. They're like, "Oh, is this his career-defining moment?" Like, yeah, now he's in Vegas. So
you know what's funny? You know what's funny? I'm not like a huge football fan. I really only started. I've been a Giants fan my whole life, right? My family are Giants fans, so it's. I've always rooted for them, but I've never actually really paid attention to football until I started getting into fantasy. And ever since, like, I don't know the whole rivalries. I know that, like, we don't like Dallas, right? As Giants fans, but I don't really care. I'm not like that. But the Jets-Dolphins thing is so real. I mean, like, every single time, like, I remember we were in a fantasy league, me and AJ, and one of my friends is a huge Jets fan. And every single time I bring up the Dolphins, man, going back so long, he hates them. Like, he just hates the Dolphins.
You know what that's rooted in, right? Because Dan Marino made them look like a fucking peewee flag football team with the fake spike play. That's what that all goes back to that, period. They are so butthurt still over that. It's almost like Ranger fans being butthurt over the Dennis Potvin clean hit still, right?
Yeah. So anyway,
carrying that.
He accidentally drafted Tyreek Hill on his fantasy team.
Accidentally.
Yeah, he didn't mean to because it was still, I guess, in Sleeper, if you don't refresh it sometimes, it'll just say like the last person's picking still, but it won't, but it's your turn. And I guess this is his first time doing a Sleeper draft, so he had no idea. He had to refresh his page. And I'm like, you got Tyreek Hill. He was like, dude, I don't want to do this league anymore. He was like, and I'm just like, midway through the year, I'm like, dude,
just trade him.
He's like, no, fuck him. Fuck Tyreek Hill. Like, you couldn't because it was a what's it called? Best ball league. So your roster.
Your roster's set. Yeah.
So he was
He was in that best ball league?
Yeah. And he's the one who had Hill.
Yeah, look, like I told you guys last week, I don't fan like that anymore. However, I will caveat that and say there is a however. I will not go. Like last year, AJ and I had I literally had the time of my life. AJ showed me a great time. We went to the Dolphins-Bills game in week 3, my first game ever at Hard Rock as a
Where he
Dolphin
got hurt,
fan.
right?
That's when Tua first got hurt. Yeah.
And they came back.
And he came back. Yeah. But
yeah, that was
it was absolutely the time it was absolutely the time of my life. And my camera just shut off for some reason. But I won't do that again for a Dolphins-Jets game. I just can't. I can't be even fucking around them in that environment, even though it's our home stadium. Because Florida is such a transplanted New York state that you're going to get half of Hard Rock's going to be Jet fans.
Yeah.
And I'm just not going to do that to myself because, as you can see, I'm not built for prison.
Yeah, but do you understand like that? That's so funny to me because
just throw them off. Just throw them off the roof of the stadium.
It's such a hated.
I didn't do it. I didn't do it.
It's such like a hated thing. Like it's like I'll be talking like just about random bets like like Dolphins minus whatever this week's like no they suck like they're gonna lose. They're going to lose this game. And it's like some stuff. And I'm like, dude, I'm like, I forgot. I can't even talk to you about this because you will have no argument against it, but you just hate the Dolphins so much that no matter what I say, nothing can change your mind. You're like,
and what's funny is just 5 minutes ago, I was saying how I think the Jets are a really good football team, especially with Aaron Rodgers. I can give credit.
He would never.
He would never. And still cannot stand. I cannot stand their fucking organization, their fans, everything about them, their color. The green, the fucking, I just can't. But I can also, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, they suck. Aaron Rodgers sucks. Breece Hall sucks. Garrett Wilson sucks. Their defense sucks. Because they don't.
He would never. No matter what you say, he would say they suck.
It's the best. The AFC East is the best division in football, and it's set to get even better with Aaron Rodgers coming in. It's by far the best division in football. You have 3 teams that could literally be battling it out through over 6 games, right? Because they play each other twice. So, Bills, Jets, and Dolphins. It's going to be some incredible football. Granted, everyone stays healthy. That's always the caveat with the NFL because 1-2 injuries and your season can quickly go to shit, as we've seen.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I can't wait to discuss some fantasy when we get there. As much as I hate it during the season, and I'm
doing some mock drafts already.
Oh, you are not, are you?
I'm
way
ready,
too early to mock, man.
I'm ready, man.
AJ's ready for 17 trades in week 1. What do you mean?
All right, I want to take us out in these last 5 minutes with
100%.
some baseball talk. Obviously, spring training is 2 weeks from wrapping up. The regular season is officially 15 days away from today. I believe the Yankees start at home against the San Francisco Giants. Little intra-league action to open the season. Garrett Cole will be on the bump. But the bigger story around the New York Yankees is before we even start, the injuries are piling up. Harrison Bader, Carlos Rodon,
I've never seen anything
Tommy
like it.
Canley. Just goes
and then
on
did you see what Hal said today
about Volpe?
No, he was like, "Yeah, I think we have the team to win if we stay healthy." Like even
You're
he
already
knows
not
the team
healthy. You're already not fucking healthy. Hal.
He already knows the team doesn't stay healthy.
Already not healthy, Hal.
And like
Bader
the biggest one,
Rodon with what the forearm tendon strain. Conley
or something. I don't know.
Who else? Rodon. Wait, it's Rodon. Oh, fucking Rizzo was having a bulky back already in camp. Like, what the frig are these guys doing over the winter? What are they doing?
I don't know, but I was at Legends Field this past Saturday. Jason Dominguez, I think, is the real deal. That kid's gonna be solid. Volpe had a good game. Stanton had a really good game. He was seeing the ball well. And you know me, I hate Stanton. So for me to say that's big.
Dude, my grandpa is the biggest Yankee fan. I mean, I can't even explain, but I sent him the screenshot of what Boone said that Bader was likely going to start the season on the IL, and he hates Cashman. He goes, "When did this happen?" Because I said the team is cursed. His exact response was, "When did this happen? I think you're right. They can't be healthy for 2 days straight. It's Cashman's fault. Everything is Cashman's fault. He hates him."
Yeah, that's not
he hates Boone.
I'm not a fan.
He hates Boone. I mean, I don't know, man.
I've never
no
seen
fan.
like
no
that.
fan is a fan of a GM or somebody that's in that much control being around for 2 decades. Period. Right? Because you kind of get the feeling like it's just run its course. Like, let's get somebody new in there with some fresh ideas and some fresh thoughts.
He's been there too long.
Yeah, 2 decades, I believe. It's a long freaking time.
In terms of them, it's every year. I've never seen a team be so unhealthy, like where their guys get hurt.
But every year they're in the mix. Every year they're in the playoffs. Like, knock on wood. Like,
if they stayed healthy, they could
piss
win.
excellence.
That's the thing.
To a certain degree.
Dude, I remember.
And then it's like, we get hurt and then we lose to the Astros. It's like clockwork every year.
I remember me and AJ went to that the Yankee game against Tampa this year, and it was the first game I ever took Lisa to see a baseball game, and they got shit on. And I was like, he's never gonna want. It's boring enough. She's never gonna want to come back to a baseball.
Your first mistake was taking your lovely
wife. That was
wife
the game, though.
For her first game ever to that absolute shithole of a stadium.
I know, man. My neck was.
When AJ moved down there, I told him, "Don't go to Tropicana Field." He goes, "Why?" I said, "Because it's a fucking shithole."
Yeah, but we're gonna go.
Literally, it's horrendous.
They're gonna renovate it. So
he went and he texted me. He's like, "Dad, this is the worst stadium I've ever been." I said, "I told you." I told you.
That was the game, though, and that was the game where remember Cabrera threw out that guy at home. That was the highlight.
That's the highlight. And Bader.
That was the game. That was the game Benintendi got hurt.
Or Benintendi, not Bader. Yeah.
So he swung and missed, and then he broke his hand somehow.
He broke a hammock. Swinging, literally swinging.
Literally, he swung, like shook his. I looked at Ann. I was like, "What the fuck just happened?" And he was like, "I don't know."
So I guess what you do is you can move Judgy to center. You could put Stanton in right.
No, they're playing IKF.
Pray that his body holds up. And I guess you're going to put Cabrera in left. If Aaron Hicks sees another start, I'm going to literally lose my shit. If Aaron Hicks, they're working out IKF in center field. I heard
IKF will be the KFC will be the death of me.
Oh,
they're playing falafel.
Ask AJ how much I hate Aaron Hicks.
I hate him too. I hate him.
Oh my god! When he steps up to the plate, I said, when I stepped up to the plate, I'm like, Aaron Bag of Dicks, here he comes. Here he comes.
That's it. KFC too, man. I hate KFC.
What a goddamn waste.
KFC.
And then the Yankees got to figure out what they're doing with Volpe and Peraza, right? If you want Peraza to be your starter, and he might be more, I think he's more major league ready at the moment than Volpe. Mm-hmm. Everyone forgets Volpe's had a great spring, but it is the spring, and Volpe hit 243 in the minors last year. So it's not like he lit the minors up. And I think he might need a little more time. And that gives the Yankees a little more time to really explore what they want to do with Gleyber. Because at the end of the day, you got to move Gleyber out and convert Volpe to second base if you want to keep them both. Period.
You know what's weird to me with KFC is like they forced my cousin and grandpa call him KFC, so it's just in my head. But what's weird to me with him is like they have other options. They've always had other options, but they still. I think that they're just so hung on that they don't want to lose that trade or that they.
Well, they lost it.
Well,
they lost it
100%. But
they know that they fucked up, so it's like a pride thing now. It's like
you
can't, we can't let it end because we.
How many goddamn fly balls to the warning track is Josh Johnson going to hit this year?
And that was
a fucking home run.
That was the Gio trade, wasn't it?
That drives me crazy. That was the Gio Sanchez trade. Yeah.
Yeah, fucking terrible.
The guy's name's not Gio Sanchez, as we all know. Although that sounds like a real name.
That sounds like
how many times is Hicks going to do that this year? Flip his bat like he hit a home run when he flies out to the warning track. That asshole.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I just feel like I just don't get the forcing. I don't get.
I think it's what AJ said. AJ nailed it. I think their pride is too high, is too much to admit they made a mistake.
And they don't let go with the hitting, right? If a hitter's like, I mean, it's free outs. It's literally how are you going to win like that? The only way is if you're hitting home runs every day.
They are in a pretty good division, right? The Orioles are still rebuilding. The Red Sox are going to be terrible. The Blue Jays are always a pain in the neck until 3/4, 80% through the season. Then they falter down the stretch. So they are in an advantageous. They are in a very advantageous division. If any team can weather an April of guys on the shelf, it's probably the Yankees, to be honest with you, more so than any other team.
Yeah, so I mean they're going to be in it, right? Every year they are. It's just I always feel like the way that their team is built, they just can't get on base and just play that.
I know they don't play small ball.
Get on base and just keep getting hits, right? It's home runs. It's just.
But that's baseball right now. Baseball right now is in a shitty cycle of home run or strikeout. That's essentially what baseball is right now.
Well, I feel like it's always going to be like that in a big market, just like hockey, right? It's always like the Rangers. They always have to sign big names. It's like it's never it's never just like it's always something. They're always got to be relevant and competitive, right? So I don't know. Well, I guess we'll see, right? We'll see what happens with them.
Yeah, we'll have to shelve this for another week and discuss and see what injuries pop up over the course of the next week.
We might have 5 more to talk about next week.
They might be like the Rangers playing short 10 guys, right?
Yeah. We may have a bunch more guys heading to the IL come next week's show. So that'll do it for episode 2 of the D3 podcast. Not the Mighty Ducks, but worse. This show was very good, gentlemen. Much better than our pilot. I have to say that.
It was much smoother, yeah.
The flow was good. We didn't spend an hour on the freaking Rangers. All positive stuff. All positive stuff. So thank you very, very much for indulging me with your time. Once again, I'm Andy Graziano for Anthony Paterno and AJ Graziano taking you out. Have a great night. Have a great week. We'll see you next time.